Thank you guys so much for coming out. This is one of the many weekly events that we do. This one is a little bit different because Justin is coming all the way from LA to be here with us tonight. So thank you so much. And the reason he's coming out is because he's one of the best growth hackers in LA and one of the best growth hackers that I know, just like on the internet. And if you guys are in the internet and you're in the growth hacking communities, then you've heard of Justin before. And if you haven't, you're not in the right communities. So I just want to give a big hand of applause before we even start to Justin, just for him coming out all the way out from LA to be here tonight.
Thanks for having me. I think it's out. Oh, no, I'm good. Yeah. Cool.
So just a little bit about Justin before we start. So Justin has helped scale multiple companies to over $1 million. He recently had a successful crowdfunding campaign go past $2 million. He's been featured in CES, Wall Street Journal, and is a Snapchat influencer, Instagram influencer, and has a pretty awesome Facebook group as well. It's basically covering all the channels. So there's going to be plenty to learn tonight.
Awesome. Glad to share that all, and thanks for the warm intro.
So I just want to kick it off and start with your background and how you got into growth hacking. So give us maybe the aha moment, the inspiration, or was it like entirely by accident?
My journey has been left and right of accidents and a lot of failures and learnings. Before I got into internet marketing, it was really me wanting to make money building websites, and so I did. And I started out age of 13, 27 now, with my first business as an eBay reseller, selling literally Pokemon cards, Magic cards, hustling all my friends in middle school with deals, getting the latest iPhone, and then taking a cut off of that. And I learned a lot about arbitrage early on. And what that allowed me to do was I started creating websites around that topic, Pokemon cards, trading cards, etc. Then I discovered magical Google and Google AdSense, and that I can make money from the internet. And so at that point, that's when I went down the rabbit hole of making money online, and read a lot of get-rich-quick ebooks back then. I got sucked into those, wasted a lot of money on that, and but I kept kind of building more different websites afterwards. And when I started building different companies, my own startups in the past, I knew one thing is that it doesn't matter how good of my product and service was if I couldn't get customers and distribution. And I said, well, let's focus on distribution, especially for me, originally from Seattle. And I moved to LA about 3 years ago. But what was happening in Seattle was there wasn't all this what's happening here in the Bay Area, all the funding. There's a lot of rich Microsoft angels, but they were setting the bar really high where you had to make insane amount of traction just to get a 20 grand seed funding check, and it was just like, it was absurd. And so that taught me to be more of like a very realistic in the startup approaches of what I wanted to do, and went pure services based, where I built an agency where I was just servicing 40 car dealerships with marketing and real estate, where my other friends were coming down here getting $1 million plus funding, YC 500, and they're just like, Justin, you're in services-based business. I'm like, yeah, it's all good. I'll come back and catch up one day. But that taught me to kind of be more get into more like the bootstrap and lean mindset, where if I didn't have enough money, I have to go generate my own money. I have to generate my own customers. Nobody's going to hand it out for me. And how can I do so in a very, very lean way? And that's when the kind of the keyword growth hacking came out. And I was like, oh, this is cool. This is what I've been doing all this long. I was just building scripts because I studied information architecture at the University of Washington. So I started building my own my software scripts to automate a lot of tasks. So I was doing stuff very similar to Airbnb, where I was automating posts to go out, except I was generating leads for the car industry, whereas Airbnb was posting ads automatically on the housing section and generating leads. And at that point, it was to the point where before you could post an ad every second. So we had fun with that. We posted an ad every second, and then we scaled that up. And then Craigslist started getting angry at everybody and Airbnb, and that's when we started being a little bit more creative with that. And that's where it kind of just started to move myself on every other platform now, on which a lot, Josh talks about a lot of social media automation, email automation, just really taking that software development mindset and product mindset and applying that to marketing. And I think that's what's helped me kind of get an edge over even just like traditional marketers, where I'm able to, I understand the product level, the customer level, and even on the marketing side too, and just kind of unifying all of those three different schools of thought to be able to growth hack. And because of that, I've been able to help different businesses and just jump through literally businesses like the Kickstarter that we did. That was my first Kickstarter, and we're about like 2.2 million right now, and that's just because it's a combination of understanding growth hacks, the crazy automation spikes, but it also just comes back down to just fundamentals like inbound marketing, building up email lists, content marketing. It's a combination of both understanding, getting mass exposure, getting like product hunt, but being able to just retain all those users, harness them, and utilize that initial customer base and just using that to virally grow and build on top of that and keep stacking growth. So, I would probably be talking a lot between a lot of growth hacks, but I think you're going to also hear a lot from me talking about more of just like the grounded stuff, which a lot of people don't like to hear, but it's just literally just attacking multiple channels at once, stacking it all together, and then making sure your inbound and content marketing is very strong, so you're retaining all that, and then creating super fans and really just growing an advocate network from there. And that's been my formula, my secret sauce formula to growth, really. And it's been done for like apps. I got apps that on the trending on the iOS store. It's just understanding again that we did a lot of influencer marketing for that type of campaign. Did stuff for like e-commerce as well. We just jumped through a lot of different industries. It was me being kind of ignorant and saying yes immediately to everything back then. Now I'm learning a lot how to say no to a lot of different projects now, but it was literally just jumping in and just taking in these different models, and you start to take a look at and see these patterns of successful companies or even just businesses, whether if it's like a B2B business, then you know that they're going to have a sales organization. They're going to do sales outreach and BD. It's creating sales automation flow for that. They're going to have to get the content marketing in place, the inbound marketing in place, and then you have to do more of like the growth hack side where you have to build a lot of relationships, a lot of channel partners, get a lot of free traffic through like Twitter automation, Instagram automation, LinkedIn automation, and just combining that all together to be able to generate growth. And I think that in terms of like growth hacking, a lot of people are still stuck on deploying like their very first growth hack. I'm not married to a single like growth hack, and you can't be, because they're exploits essentially, and they get sealed up. I think what makes me and other growth hackers like Josh is that we are constant problem solvers. We're literally like solving problems every single day, and the answers are all out there technically. It's just, are you using Google to the most max efficiency? Are you using other experts? There's just like crazy growth hacks that we had to figure out that, how to figure out how to replicate landing pages, replicate domains. Like, it's very technical. That's even outside of some of my expertise, but it's just like being resourceful. I think that's what an edge that as growth hackers and having that mindset is we don't know all the answers, but we know how to go search and find the answers and be resourceful in that respect. And I think that's kind of like the mindset that I like to set forth for growth hacking.
Yeah, I think a lot of what you said is very true, especially the problem-solving aspect. And it's funny because great growth hackers, you'll see when they come up, they'll get one channel right, and they're like, oh, I can do it. And then within 2 months, they're on another channel, and they reverse engineer, and they figure it out. And then it's the next channel, the next channel. And within a year, they have like an influence on 3 different channels, right? So it is very replicable as long as you have the right mindset. So what I want to dive into is first product launches, and then we're going to go channel by channel on growth hacking. Yeah. What are your favorite growth hacks for product launching? How do you think people should go into product launches? And especially for people that don't have a really great audience right now. So maybe they're starting from scratch. Maybe they only have 1,000 people on their email list, and they're going from there.
Yeah, so I always love to talk about this topic because I've done it multiple times on starting even my own like little pet projects, or even helping other companies out. The first everything that I've always done has generated revenue from day one, and there's a lot of reasons for that. First, always build a landing page, collect emails, create that inbound capture funnel. That's like a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised. A lot of people don't build landing pages of their product. And what's important about that landing page too is to really sell that idea, whatever your product, app, service is, make it look as real as possible. And even if it's not, because what you want to do is you want to build trust factor. The increase in trust factor of legitimacy will increase the conversions and will also increase the people's attitude toward your product. If it's like straight up alpha and it just has like, you're literally showing your napkin sketch, good luck getting people to sign up. Like Photoshop it if you have to, get a designer, fabricate it. Like it's that in itself is a growth hack. You're trying to like show off that this is real, legitimate, and would you be interested in signing up for this product and service? So that's like just like basics from there. You want to claim that you're a champion before you're a champion. You want to give people off that idea that this is real. After that, I do a lot of like what I call like hand-to-hand combat, ground level stuff where people don't want to roll up their sleeves. If you don't have the money and resources out there, there's a lot of there's a lot of places that you can go generate free traffic or even partnerships and deals. It's through just a lot of collaborations. That's how I built my own Snapchat account. That's how I built my own agency when my startup died about a year ago. That's how I built a few different other product launches too. It's just, if you don't have the network, other people have the network, right? Whether it be, I'll give you a good example. So when I go on the ground and I had to build my agency from the ground up, Growthly, I went to immediately, it's like, oh, I can go out and sell all day long, but I'm not a salesperson. Instead, why don't I partner with people that are targeting entrepreneur startups? So who are they? I go down the list. Commercial real estate. All right, they're selling people in Silicon Beach, Santa Monica. What do they need? What does a commercial real estate person need? They need help growing their own social and their own personal branding. Okay, I'll trade them. I'll do growth for them using some sort of skill set that I have, or I'll match them with a friend that they need to get connected with. Like people have different levers, and you have to find those levers of whatever it makes them tick, and then do that. Like barter, it's just pure bartering. And what I always like to do is just find those. I found commercial real estate. I found lawyers. I found outsourced CFOs. I found co-working spaces, accelerators, even I went to like happy hours, and I just found somebody that just was constantly at every happy hour. I'm like, you have a lot of time on your hands, but you're literally talking to so many people. What if I give you 20% of your first sale, and if they don't budge, 30%? Like, I think that when you're starting out from the front, maybe the upfront costs, you can offer even 50% if you really have to, but that'll help you start getting traction and getting some money in the door. Or you start taking some pro bono work and start building your portfolio of clients just to stack the deck up. And then now you have social proof, even if they're not paying, and even if they're not necessarily the best case study, now you're having the momentum and social proof that you have X amount of clients. Then you can march to the next client. It's like, hey, I already got 5 clients. I don't need your business. I'll charge you whatever. Now you can start charging, Like they don't know like all the pro bono deals, if that makes sense. You need to increase your credibility. That there's a lot of other ways to do that. But it's just like finding networks, whether it be influencers, business partner agencies. I even find other marketing agencies. Honestly, they don't even have the bandwidth to handle all their marketing, and they're not experts in all the different channels and places too. And there's stuff that I went out of my way to help them to learn. Like if I know that they really needed a website and I don't really know WordPress, either I'm going to go learn it or I get my friend to do it, and then they're going to unlock that door. And then one biggest point for that ground level type of collaborations is I always make sure that if they bring in a lead and I close them or I deal with any channel partner, I immediately pay them out, and I pay them fast. And they know, like, oh, this guy is paying me, and this is serious, so they're going to keep sending referrals. And if somebody sends you a referral, you don't close them, tell the partner that you got to just keep the communications line open. Because like if they keep bringing you people and you don't close them, you drop the ball, they're going to stop giving you referrals. And they're literally the ground floor on your feet giving you leads. And at this point now, like, and honestly, like with Growthly, the agency, we have so much referral and inbound. Like we've been behind on getting back to like even a web leads right now. And I don't even have a sales team. I'm not even doing any marketing right now too. It's just I just been teaming up with a whole bunch of other publications and other places, and they're just like feeding me leads. And that just requires no tech, requires no money, and it just requires you just to get out there. So that's one big start, and that anybody can just get started off of that. The next other two growth hacks is just using kind of just social media automation tools like Instagram, Mass Planner, grum.co, just tools that can help automate your social media profiles and find targeted people. And you know, some people you complain that it's inauthentic and all that good stuff, but I'm gonna look at your account and I'm gonna see 0 followers, and I'm gonna look at somebody else that automated and grew their followers. They're gonna still get even if they get inauthentic follow backs, they're just gonna look more. They're gonna have more social proof, but even if their interactions are inauthentic to other people, they're going to catch some interested people, even if it's just a small percentage. Like 10% versus 0 is still 10% of real traffic coming in, even if it's so little. Like I think that's like an excuse and an obstacle. I mean, like of course, like you have your own ethical boundaries, but you're gonna make an excuse to getting 0 growth, or you're gonna go and attempt and try and hurt people's feelings. Nobody knows who you are anyway, so you're nobody. So you really can't really hurt their feelings that much. And even then, you're gonna keep modifying and adjusting yourself if you are taking that feedback, and hopefully you will have an interesting enough business to provide to people. Another kind of easy growth hack that I always like to do is, I'm trying to think, collaboration. It's been really working on trying to get your product. If your product and service sometimes isn't moving, then sometimes you need to create lead magnets or other ways to attract audiences. What I mean by that, you know, it could be you hosting an event like this. It could be you creating content, you creating something that might not even be directly related to your product or service, but will attract your audience. That, you know, like if you are if you are doing something in legal, for example, then you're going to just like host workshops. That's going to start attracting leads or people. Then you're going to get that momentum. Or if you have some sort of talent or skill set that has, like, if I know how to build websites that has nothing to do with marketing, or not directly, it's going to still attract business owners. Then I'll hold a workshop. Then people will come through to that lead magnet. Same thing that I tell like a tutoring company. Just start holding SAT workshops for free, and parents will come. The only thing that costs is your sweat equity and time, and they'll start attracting your audiences. So it's just like finding indirect ways to like funnel and build like these mini funnels throughout, so that people will keep coming to you, and that's like an easy way to start. And it might, because like sometimes your pitch or your product isn't there yet to capture an audience because you have too many competitors. Whatever, people are gonna just bounce. Like if you are building the next like dating app or whatever, like there's so many competitive. That's not like a unique edge to attract people. So throw something out there that will attract people, and then funnel them to whatever it is that you are offering or serving.
Yeah, just to jump into that, you know, one of the things that I notice is I like to call building a minimum viable audience before you even launch a product. So it's like, do you actually want these people to be your customers? Do you enjoy interacting with them? Because if you don't enjoy interacting with these people and you're about to launch a product, and that's going to be your company for the next 3 years, then that's going to be a ton of pain. So find that out early, start hosting workshops, like get involved with them and see if you actually like them, right? And it's so funny seeing so many people start companies and they're like, I don't even like talking to my customers. And I'm like, well, you just jumped in the wrong industry. So I just want to jump into channels. And the first channel I want to start with is Snapchat, because nobody talks about Snapchat. I've hosted so many interviews, and gosh, like nobody has even touched on it. And you're the one person that can. So start there. Talk a little bit about growth hacking, the strategies that you're using, and a lot of the partnerships.
Yeah. So Snapchat is a very interesting channel in itself because it's the hardest platform to grow. The only way to grow is either people use your username or your Snap code, right? And so that was like a huge challenge for me. I'm like, all right, well, let's go at this directly, and growth is still very hard. And what I did in terms of like timing Snapchat was I knew that when DJ Khaled kind of made it popular, and then Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, all these people, Ty Lopez, they started bringing all their marketing influencers. At that point, that's when I knew, for my story at least, that was perfect time for me to come in and bring content on Snapchat, and more specifically marketing, growth hacking, entrepreneurship content on that platform, because if there's a huge influx of users, there's not enough content creators to supply that demand. And I made that bet, and what I did was I just started snapping myself every single day. And keep in mind, about a year ago, like I would have trouble with just even speaking and getting in front of a camera, or just like even like being here and just speaking coherently. It's just something that I didn't practice a lot. But what I did was I just started doing it every single day. And it used to take me like an hour to just do like 10 minutes worth of snaps, because it's like, how do I speak in just 10 seconds? I have to like think about in order of how my content will be too. And I have to also break down complex topics in such a small amount of time. And that was just all through just trying it out and having no experience with it, right? But what motivated me though was just the arbitrage moment where I was like the only person dropping like 10, 15 minutes worth of content on Snapchat, which that's very long actually on Snapchat. But the people that kept staying on my content pieces, they were like really, really engaged with my content. And the way that I kept growing that was I just kept over-delivering content. Like, I call it like 10x content, right? Like where I'm blowing out all my competitors. Like even like Gary Vaynerchuk, even though that he was talking about Snapchat, he wasn't dropping native content on Snapchat. He was just showing, I'm at this conference, that's it. I knew that if I brought lessons directly on Snapchat, because that's where you're consuming, I'm going to just immediately stand out of the crowd. All these other like Snapchat influencers and business influencers, all they're doing is like, I'm at a conference, that's it. They'll be at this like this talk right here, snapping the speakers and just saying, here, this cool speaker, Gary Vaynerchuk or Mark Cuban. That's it. Oh, so what? Your audience doesn't care. Like, cool story. You just took a picture of Mark Cuban. We want to know what Mark Cuban said. So treat it like Twitter. Take a picture, a quote. Put captions. People love captions. Like I put captions like all day long on all my content pieces. And then also too, like people also are just showing, this is just not even just Snapchat, this is like content marketing in general. People only just talking about surface level stuff, like what? Twitter, YouTube, whatever. Be like, I'm at this event, selfie, cool story. Everybody's doing that. People want to hear your insights and your thought leadership and your expertise. So if I'm sitting here at this event, I'm going to share my take on what Mark Cuban said and interpret it to my audiences and then add my own layer. And people are like, wow, this guy is smart. Like this guy is sharing his own knowledge. And sometimes I'll say stuff I disagree too. Like that's giving my own opinions. Now, because now you're not showing what, you're showing the how and why. Like you're going a much more deeper level for any of the content. And that's what really made me stand out for the content that I'm creating. And the beauty about Snapchat, even live stream, I'd say, is that the feedback loop is very, very fast. Versus now, if you like create a video and push it out to like YouTube, you're probably not going to get a lot of people commenting and responding, and you'll never get that feedback to grow as your personal brand or even content creator. And I really grew fast on my Snapchat because I kept asking my audience to criticize me. Like I was like, Flame Friday, like literally throw all your criticism at me. Like, I really don't care because I need to improve. And people are just like, oh, like my face wasn't like fully in the screen. I'm like, okay, you are sometimes not saying things clearly. Okay. Sometimes that I get cut off. Like people were just telling me straight up, like feedback. That's like great for any type of marketing because then now I'm able to shift. And when people see that change too, they're like, oh, wow, this guy's responding and this guy's evolving. This brand is evolving. And that's a technique that I brought more from like the development side where you would plan something out, and this is literally what I do on Snapchat. I was like, oh, I'm planning to go to this conference. Then I state my intention, and then I start sharing people my game plan. Like, okay, I'm gonna go here, try to hand out my business cards. My business cards had my Snap code. My T-shirt had my Snap code. I went all in on Snapchat. So then people will start seeing me doing it. Then after the event, I start sharing the results. All right, this failed. This either pass or fail. And failure is okay, but I started sharing that with my audience. Then I said, oh, I approached this wrong, or I did this, this was a fail, but you know what? This is how I'm going to reapproach this in the future. So then at this point, like they'll see a real life case study or lesson of me doing something. And then I actually said I did it. That's like instant credibility and trustworthy and transparency right there. They see me pass or fail. If I failed, then they'll see even more transparency points. Like I'm just winning points all over the place. They're like, oh, I'm so bought in. This guy's so real and authentic. And people are having a hard time grasping how authenticity. I'm just like literally sharing all that out. And then they keep seeing me growing, and then the brand equity just keeps increasing there because they keep seeing me improving. And I'm literally getting free critique on my sales pitches, on my deck. Now, like my audience now is like literally giving me free consultation. And then after that, what I started doing was I just started just collaborating with other entrepreneurs and content creators, like doing literally swapping accounts on Snapchat, because I know that they can bring in insights and I can bring insights on their channel, and then we can trade audiences. So I did that every week. I traded with a lot of different people, from people that were sales experts, people that had different products, influencer marketing, ad buying, even just different CEOs and co-founders are just featuring it and just like trading audiences, and that keeps adding more growth. And you can do this even on Instagram, and that doesn't cost you anything, right? You're creating content on their channel, giving a value trade proposition to them, and then they're trading content on your audience. So then now you're not, first off, like you don't have to like think of content. Now you have somebody else who's coming into your channel giving content. And as you are keep increasing your social following, your email lists, then now you're becoming a kind of publication or media brand. And then now everybody who still wants to start coming on your own channel at that point. And then also too, you doing a collaboration with other influencers or just marketers or founders or whatever, that's like instantly building a business relationship with people. Like I did a swap with like the co-founder of Elite Daily, he sold it for $50 million. Now I'm like working with him. I did a swap with the VC. Now they're giving me portfolio deals, and then another one's Accelerator. Just like, oh, that's like my Trojan horse in. It's like, oh, if I can't pitch you my idea myself as marketer, then I'm going to pitch you, like, let's trade content because I have 10,000 followers on whatever platform. And then at that point, like, hey, they're like, oh, this is pretty cool. Then now I got it myself in. And I just kept, for me, it was just showing up every single day. I was just like creating content. It was tiring to do, but I was just playing the long-term game on it. And what helped me was I started just like expanding out and pushing my content on different channels. Good thing I didn't put all my eggs in one basket and just Snapchat, because like Snapchat did take a huge hit in terms of views. My Instagram is like catching up, and it even caught up further to my Snapchat. But you know what? It doesn't really matter because Snapchat taught me how to do Instagram stories and WhatsApp and Facebook. So I was just really focusing on how to create content. Doesn't matter about the platform, Snapchat, Instagram, Musical.ly, whatever new platforms will come out. Just focusing on how to create content fast in that format or medium, then the platforms will just start unlocking, in my opinion. And that's just my kind of growth hack take on content marketing and these platforms in general. I really don't care about the platform, whether it be live stream or all that stuff. They're all like, I'm focused on the skill sets more so, on how to talk in front of a camera, how to edit videos, how to write, how to create podcasts. then from there, just all these other channels are just places to push and syndicate to. So.
Yeah, I love the part about you getting critiques from your audience. I think that's so powerful because so many people don't actually want to cater to their audience and actually ask, like, hey, like, do you actually like this, right? And so many new features have a novelty effect too. So for like the first 10 videos you do, like there'll be strong engagement, and all of a sudden it'll just go down. And you're like, oh, what happened? Like they liked the last 10, but it's that novelty effect. And my videographer here tonight knows that like I spent tons of money on live streaming and on Facebook, and then that ended up not working out as I expected. And we're just like, okay, we got to pivot right now. So just being able to adjust like constantly and get that feedback is so important. And I think that in itself is such a rare skill set that I see with very, very few people on any social media platform.
Yeah, and to that point, though, it's just like it's glad that you guys are able to identify that Facebook Live isn't working for you, and you be able to cut off that channel fast. I've seen content creators literally just they think that they're creating content every single day on Facebook, and they're just not. I just see their viewership numbers are just not increasing. It's great for retention at that point, but like they're not gaining and growing. They're expecting that they're getting growth, and so it's just like really paying attention to your numbers, and if that platform just isn't working for you, then try another platform out. But in my opinion, my tactic now is to be on every single platform, whether that be hiring virtual assistants or just I literally download all my Snap stories and re-upload it to Instagram every single day, and I even push it to my Facebook stories. Why? Because I'm on every single platform. Why? Because I can't assume that all my audiences will be on every single platform. And somebody drops off from me on Snapchat, which a significant amount did, and went to Instagram, I want to be there. And there are other marketers that will tell you that and say that, oh, you don't want to put repeat content. I get that. But I'm also, as long as you're confident in the content that you're providing, it's like high quality, you really can't really hurt their feelings. Just keep delivering the high quality content. And so like that, I'm not really afraid of like hurting anybody's feelings that they saw my content on Snapchat and Instagram. Actually, I see a lot of people are, and they're actually doing it. So I'm not forcing them to watch content on both platforms. So that's just my point. Just like start with one platform, get in the motion of creating content, and then start pushing that out to other platforms. That's my opinion, really fast. Because sometimes like a video or a post I'll have will just explode on Facebook, and then LinkedIn it doesn't do well, and YouTube and all that stuff. And then another day it just does very well and just explodes on the algorithm on another one. There's a lot of factors to it. It's just be how many followers you have on that platform, time of day of week, holidays, algorithm changes. Like you never know. So you should just be omnipresent whenever you can. And then funnel all those people. Like I think another reason why people don't really want to be omni-channel is that they don't have a funnel or end game to it. You're not pushing people to a conversion or landing page. Like the reason why it's worth it for me is because if I just land one deal, then like it pays a huge retainer. Then I'll Snapchat all day long. Yeah, that's my best channel. So it's just like it's just finding those revenue opportunities and funneling people to a destination page. I think that's like another reason why people don't find these channels to be as worth it.
I think one of the unique things that you've done is that you built an audience that's far more valuable than like someone following a fitness Instagram, right? So you actually have someone that's interested in entrepreneurship, that is interested in growth hacking, and these are people who are maybe like co-founders, right? And you don't have like tons of co-founders following like fashion accounts, and it helps you because you're like a unicorn, right? And nobody's doing it. Like very few people can build social media accounts off that type of content. And if you can, like you immediately stand out. And I think that's super powerful. And with that note, I just want to dive right into Instagram because I know you're showing up on Instagram every single day. I mean, I'm like looking at this, I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And so dive into some of the strategies you're using with Instagram, as well as some of the things that people don't know you can do with Instagram. Like there's a lot of talk around engagement groups and that type of good stuff.
Yeah, so Instagram, first off, like I've run like the automation platforms like Instagram and Mass Planner from my account. And again, like if my account is going out interacting with founders or people automatically, then I have to be damn sure that my grid and my content is good so that I can actually retain them and that they'll actually stick. And so good thing that, that I figured that out. And so like, as long as my content is going out and engaging people, then I'm just going to keep focusing on content marketing now to retain and increase value there. In terms of like other Instagram hacks, I'm not like the biggest Instagram growth hacker, but like that's when I started going out and seeking people that have run big Instagram pages, whether it be influencers or people that just run these really big meme accounts or travel pages. And what I found, especially being in Los Angeles, where it's like Instagram all day long, is there's a lot of collusion happening on the top, but there's ways to be able to go to those people directly to get that access to. So basically what's happening now is people are creating essentially private chat groups of people that operate really big Instagram pages. They're called engagement groups, and they're hiding in the very deep underground of apps. They're not sitting on Instagram. They used to be on Kick, but now they're on like Telegram. Both very shady apps, like meant for like Craigslist Backpage type of deals and Russians and stuff like that. But like I don't know what the appeal was, but they all just started hanging around there. I guess because you do chatbots on it too. But you have to join these apps. But even then, there's no like search to find these groups. It's all through word of mouth. And the best way that I learned about it is like I just Googled it, and then I found my initial set of engagement groups. It took me to places like Black Hat World, which I love that website. Which then started like I started getting. It's all like the networking and collaboration game. You have to jump into a network, even if it's not the best community first, and then just start talking and just be involved, ask around. Then you're going to start seeing people mentioning other essentially chat groups and pods, and you have to figure out how to get in. And just to give you the power of it, there's groups where there's only people that operate 1 million followers and above pages, right? And what they're doing is they're colluding together and saying 2 or 3 times a day, everybody just share their latest post links. And everybody does. And then what happens is all these page operators will just like that content. And what happens is it's just like it tricks the algorithm saying, hey, this content piece has a lot of big pages and people liking it, and they're liking it really fast. So it must be viral. And then at that point, it just kicks it off into the Instagram Explore page, and then it just gets bigger and bigger, and then you just get, like I have a friend that grew his account like 0 to 140,000 within like 3 months type of stuff. But it's just because like he was inside these kind of clubs. Again, like there's different barriers to entry. There's general ones where there's just a lot of people. They don't have any barrier to entry. Some of them are paid. If I were to start, I would just start out with Googling it, and then you just see these different groups, and you just download Telegram and start joining into that. And then from there, there's another group. I don't have the name immediately. I guess I'll have to send it to Josh. But there's a group that is kind of a hub for all other groups, and that's where you can kind of start finding the network of all these kind of groups and clubs. So it's been very, very underground, and it's happening on every single platform: Instagram, Facebook. You got Twitter circles, literally people just like tweeting stuff out, retweeting it just to keep kicking it off. And I have friends that can just do like 10 million impressions in an hour type of stuff. Then you have people doing Facebook too, people that can do mass impressions just to get things go viral. It's you either have to pay to get those promoted posts, or join the clubs, or you have to just come in offering something of value. And usually it's just like, do you also own and operate a big Instagram page yourself? If you do, then you're going to be punched into the club because you have something to offer on the table, if that makes sense. And the only other way to do that is to grow it, or to use your friends or somebody else's account and to punch yourself into the club, just saying you help operate it, or you go out and buy those accounts. And that could just be just like going out to accounts, trying to offer them a price and just buying it directly, which I've helped some groups. We've bought already 15 Instagram accounts, each of them minimum 100,000. And so we're building our own network now of content. And so there's different ways to do it. Just pay to win, play to play, and There's free ways to get into, but that has been the number one growth because there's no other way to put on those type of numbers. Not even like automation can put on like 10,000 followers in like a week type of deal. All the other like growth hacks, a lot of them got covered up because Instagram closed up the API to a lot of people. So the other growth hack would be this is another growth hack that everybody could implement. It's just you would have your main brand account, but you start creating other accounts that are just thematic. So let's say so I have like a friend who has luxury houses, luxury home, luxury travel, luxury clothes, watches, and then another account that just shows money, just like money being thrown around all over. And so he just created 5 accounts. Each of them are just running an automation. Each of them are involved in engagement groups. And then he's just giving himself, as they're growing, he's giving himself all the shout outs. And then now he has his own network. And so it's scaling one account. If one account can grow you X amount, start creating thematic accounts. Again, it's similar back to the idea where create accounts and content pieces that might not be directly related to your brand or business, but your audience would want, and just funnel them to your brand or business and service. That's just like another, like a much more tangible account. And sometimes you might have to go out and have a phone number for every Instagram account. Then you just go buy like a Go phone, AT&T Go phone, $10 a month. Then you just do the math. That's like per Instagram account. You have, that's the cost of running that. Just build that into your costs and just run it on automation. And so for me, right, I have a really big network on Instagram, even on Twitter, because I've done the math. Like if an Instagram account can get me like 300 to like 500 targeted uniques, then if I want to generate 5,000 targeted uniques, then I'll create 5 accounts or 10 accounts, 10 accounts to get 5,000 unique traffic. If I know that like Instagram is going to block my domain, I'll just duplicate my landing page and just buy a new domain. It's still going to funnel to the same place. So like I don't care. The lead is going to come back to me. I'm going to buy like growthlead.tech, growthlead. Whatever. In the end of the day, it's still funneling back to me, and that's how I've been like growing. Like I'm just building these like syndicate accounts, and I'm shouting myself out. I can do deals with other big pages now because I have a big network, and then that's how I'm exceeding traffic, and I'm generating traffic for really dirt cheap from Twitter and Instagram.
I think one of the cool parts with engagement groups too is that if you know how to really like flip the account and actually like partner with people as soon as you buy it, then what you can do is not only can you like make money, but you can really justify in a sense where, let's say you work in tech and you want to land partnerships and you want to land some of the best partnerships. So what you do is you buy like a inspirational quote account that has 200,000 followers, gets maybe 20,000 engagements a day, and then you hit up people saying like some of the biggest names in tech, and you say, hey, I want you to come to our office. We're going to take a picture of you, slap a quote on it, and you're going to get like 10,000 engagements, and we're going to drive a lot of that traffic back to your own profile, right? So that's your pitch to them, and they love that stuff. And maybe it costs you like $8K to buy the account, right? So now, but as a result, you're getting the biggest names in tech to come to your office. And your CEO is like, how are you doing this? Like, these are like crazy demos that you're setting up. And all you do is buy an Instagram account and you're just pulling off this one little trick.
Yeah, it's all about just social reach perception. And there's like a whole lot of above. Like if you can go afford to get an account, definitely highly recommend doing so, because like that will help you get into deals and all that good stuff. Because just like different use cases, like if I were to go work with like a brand in case like Intel, not only am I sharing content on my own personal brand too, but I also have like some 100,000 plus tech accounts that I bought a long time ago that I'm cultivating. And so when Intel had a new product, I pushed it to my account, but now I have this new leverage network account, and now I'm going to get more deals, or I'm working with more brands like that. And upfront cost an account, maybe like 100,000 follower account can range anywhere from like $1,500 to $5,000, depending on how good the account and topic is. It is expensive, but again, it's one way to go about it in a short amount of time. It was just paying up that upfront cost. I bought an account and I'm still harvesting automation on other smaller accounts, if that makes sense, too. So it's just like combining it all. Like I'm not just like one, like I'm not either or too, and I agree with that point.
And sometimes people wonder, how do things go viral? It's people like Justin who, like, you have a sponsor come out and say, hey, I'm going to give you a video and I want you to push it out. And then you push it out on maybe 30 different profiles at once, right? And what that does, boom, immediately hits all the algorithms and it goes viral. So not a lot of people like know the origin of that. And it's crazy how it's people like Justin who are just sort of
other people
overseeing it, right?
Yeah, and then also too, just like Instagram stories, you can mention people. So definitely take advantage of that. Just start hitting up other pages and collaborating with them, trading content. You're going to get follow backs from that too. Again, just like find every way to link back. If you do have a content piece that does go viral, immediately put in your captions, follow, and then mention your name. Because like if your content piece goes to an explore page, that's the call to action. The call to action is for somebody to click your own username mention and then go to your page and follow. Like when I had a content piece go viral, I immediately switched that. I got a couple hundred people that followed me just because I made that immediate switch. I noticed that my content was going viral. Then I added a follow at mention my Hackerpreneur account. And then one other technique too, I haven't really like got this fully up and running yet, but I had a friend who was buying Instagram ads, and he created some super viral content, and he has like some quote or motivation. And then in the caption, he has the follow for more at his account. And so he's trying to buy follows in that way, because there's no direct way to buy followers, like real followers. Like you can't pay Instagram to buy followers to get follow mentions. Facebook, you can buy likes. Instagram is a little bit trickier in that sense.
So I want to jump right into Facebook, and Facebook is a channel that everyone uses, and I'm sure like half the people here have jumped into advertising part at one point. And what's working with you with Facebook, and talk a little bit about the campaign that you're working on too, because it ties directly into that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of aspects to Facebook. There's obviously running a big business content page. I've not directly owned one, but I've helped and also managed a few. The thing about Facebook is it definitely became a pure pay-to-play club now. Like, reach just collapsed like significantly. That doesn't mean that you should not strive to get organic content. Like, you will rank higher the more you engage organic content, but boosted ads, doing a lot of promoted posts works very, very well. I'll just start from the very top, then I'll just work my way down. Like the people that are getting stuff going viral, they just run big pages. I know people that run like 13 million followers, accounts total, and like they're just random pages. They just all reshare. To get those type of deals, you just literally reach out to the business owner and ask them. Just say, you either ask them to pay for promoted posts, or if you really make some really, really cool content, then they'll take it for free, because like they need content, right? Like I have a friend that made some sort of like something that had to do with like cannabis, and he pushed it on 420, and he gave it out to like the big pages like Elite Daily and all these other pages, and they just took it and they just gave him free publicity because he created a content piece that they knew was going to go viral, and they created either a skit, a meme, some sort of viral video, and then just handed it off. Like big page operators or content creators love when they don't have to work. When they have the audience, and they'll credit you, and that's like a easy way to grow. Another way has been through what we've done for like the Kickstarter campaign was we did a lot of Facebook ads, and we did a lot of testing. We used the tool AdEspresso. AdEspresso is a really cool tool where you can upload 5 different images, 5 different headers, 5 different descriptions. Then it'll just make every single possible combination out. And then when you run the ad, you get to see what works and what doesn't in terms of like copy, design, so that you don't have to do the guesswork. And we did those tests. We did those tests at a large scale. We tested out different demographics, different copies, and you'd be surprised. Like, you have a hypothesis that's more like an assumption that you're assuming this audience is going to respond well, whereas like the 40-plus-year-old it's going to respond better for your Kickstarter, which did. And that's when we started to go all in on that audience, not the West Coast tech savvy crowd. They were like destroying our product. So we're like, why show our product to those people there? But what we also did was we did a lot of retargeting and a lot of lookalike audiences and custom audiences. And what it does is, like, if you're not familiar with Facebook pixels, make sure you put a Facebook pixel on your website. It'll just cookie every user that comes in and tracks them throughout your whole website. And then from there, you can rerun ads. But the biggest mistake is somebody is just rerunning an ad just because you landed on a website. That's not enough of a data point, or that's not as targeted as you could be. If you can start mapping out like your checkout system, a product, there's stuff called like dynamic ads, where if somebody goes down a funnel or a shopping cart, it's going to show them different ads throughout the life or stage of that to that customer to get them to convert and push down the funnel. And it's only going to show them that ad that's personalized. Like if you go to Amazon and you look at a product, that product's going to stalk you and follow you wherever. And it's just going to just be in your face until you convert. But again, what worked very well for us is that we found people that watched like a video 50% on our Facebook page. Then we knew that these people really understood our product and service. They might not have converted, but let's go run a different ad to them that it was more like a feature update, a story of our founder. So like we're treating ads now like an email drip, where we're doing ad drips essentially. So that we're kind of storytelling, because we can't expect to convert people from the first go. And so we're doing the mass brand exposure piece. And usually that'll be like a quick 1-minute video, usually be super hype, super meme, or like super like quick to the point, so that they're like, oh, this is weird, okay, whatever. Just to do like pattern disruption and capture their attention without super big expectations for that to convert. Then we'll rerun the next ad that will show them more feature sets or stories that really gets them more ingrained into our product and service. And then we're really going deep down and getting those people down into the funnels. And then we're finding the people that converted and trying to get them to refer other people. We run a lot of ads to those super returning customers. And then you try to make them buy more, trying to refer more, let them share, put our content pieces in front of those people, because we'll know that they're more likely to share our pieces out, and that's when virality will start to happen. I'm trying to think any other hacks in terms of Facebook marketing. I mean, Facebook groups, obviously. Josh has built a really big Facebook group, so he growth hacked that, became a thought leader in terms of rounding up all the marketers and founders. And then and that's going to be a big play soon, because Facebook groups is going to be integrated with Facebook pages soon. And we're seeing testing out where like Warner Brothers and CW with like Pretty Little Liars, they're like building their own super fan club on Facebook. So we're going to be seeing some more either ads or commercial tools available for business and groups. But it's just a great way to build an audience and authority to do is Facebook groups. Another hack is how to grow your Facebook page to get a lot of likes. Whenever you go to your own Facebook page and you post a piece of content, you promote it out, you can click the likes and see who liked it, and then from there you can actually invite everybody. And there's scripts. That's like another like very simple Facebook hack. You get a script that can just like invite everybody to like your page up to 100,000 likes, so you can seed your first 100,000 likes from doing that, running some promoted posts, and then from there just inviting people to participate in your content. Then after that, it's just what we do is we just always spend like at least a couple bucks, $5 on just boosting our posts to increase our reach, and just let our content marketing do most of the work for the promoted posts on the pages that we run.
I think there's a lot of great points right there, especially I think Facebook groups is a big one just because there's so many features that Facebook is going to add to groups that people don't even know about. And one that I just found out yesterday, I was talking to the owner of Gridix, which is group analytics tool for Facebook, and he said, yeah, they're coming out with subgroups similar to Slack. And I didn't even know that. I was like, and then I asked him, I was like, hey man, can you tell me more? He just didn't even respond to me. I was like, I don't even think he was supposed to tell me that. Like, so before we jump into the audience for a couple of questions, I know many people are trying to become like growth marketers and becoming like adopt more of a growth hacker type of mentality. And people reach out to me every day. I'm sure they reach out to you too. And they're like, how do I become a growth hacker? So I want you to talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a very, you'll never get the same answer from, I guess. Everybody has their own point of view because we all come from different angles. Like, again, like growth hacking, there's, again, 3 different schools of thoughts. You have software side of it, the data side, and then you have just like marketing and business side, right? For me, I mean, I came from 2 angles because I founded companies before. I understand some of the business side, but then I started learning more software development. So then I came in from that angle. A lot of growth hacks obviously are technology based, but even now I don't really code anymore. I just know how to outsource using like Upwork or freelancer.com or sometimes Craigslist, but not really. It's just like finding other developers and other places to write these scripts and codes. So you don't have to be necessarily a coder, but if you really want to be a growth hacker, you should just get understanding how to code, or at least study some sort of object-oriented language, Java, or like, you know, get into like Python. Just Python's actually great for growth hacking, to write scrapers and scripts. Just understanding how to code so that you know how to talk to a coder it's really helpful. Because I can call bullshit now to like a developer that I'm hiring, even though I don't know all the details or latest updates on the APIs. But now I understand APIs, I understand how technology works, and actually all my growth hacks, I don't even touch the API. I have a script that literally, all my scripts are based on mimicking a Chrome browser and simulating real clicks and actions. And that's the way I evaded everything. And even marketers, like everybody, the first thought would go after APIs, and it's just like, that's like, no, like API is the biggest giveaway for you to show that you are doing some black hat, gray hat stuff on somebody's network. To me, like, I mean, there's really, like, I can't really say besides Josh and a few other people, Vincent, and there's not really that much like real growth hackers out there, actually, to be honest. And like, it should be like a growth hacking mindset. And I think that there are other people that call themselves growth hackers, but they might know only like a one-trick pony, and they're like, I'm a growth hacker. That's it, right? And like, I know Instagram, I'm a growth hacker. I know Masslandr, I'm a growth hacker. I've seen it done so many times. And you know, a lot of us are measured based on how much growth hacks we know. To me, like, I would just focus on, just in my opinion, focus first on core inbound marketing, like content marketing, understanding analytics, attribution, email automation, using Autopilot, MailChimp, whatever, building landing pages, conversion optimization, because whether, like I said, it doesn't matter what channels will come, live and die. Once I figure out how to capture and harness those users, it doesn't matter how big, like if I do a big growth hack and I don't know how to harness that, and I've seen it done so many times where those guys are like, I'll generate a big launch on Reddit and Product Hunt, then it immediately collapses because their product service sucks. They don't know how to capture all the emails. They didn't even cookie and pixel all those users. For me, it's just understanding coming from a core of inbound first. Then you start playing out and experimenting with the growth hacks on different channels to then push into your inbound. And then from there, it's just literally going down the line and just experimenting with different channels. So literally just jump through different channels and just going through, talking to other experts in other channels. I think what makes a growth hacker is being able to look at the big picture of growth and being able to identify what tools or campaigns or growth hacks to deploy to generate this type of growth. And in order to do so, like you can't be a specialist per se, like a pure SEO person, unless you're just like SEO growth hacker. You can't be just a pure AdWords person. You're trying to look at growth in the overall perspective of things, so that you can kind of match make and become like the kind of the architect of growth. by being able to utilize all these different channels in the data. And one other point too, which would help me a lot, is just becoming. I think another issue with a lot of marketers is that they have never founded a company except their own personal brand LLC, and it's no hate on that, but like, if you should really understand what it takes to build a product and service, or at least be ingrained, so that you live and breathe the product itself too, and understand what the developers have to do to implement. It's not like all magic. Like you can just I need to implement this landing page. Like you have to understand what it takes to actually execute that. And the better you understand that, then you know when to bother your developers, when to not bother developers. What I'm trying to say with that is, like, if you understand the product very well, you're going to start being able to really play with all the different channels and different platforms because of that. And a lot of the growth hacks that I do too is not so much on the outbound acquisition channels, but looking at the internal data. If we have 100 really good customers, what is their actual profile? Who are they? Where are they from? How can we find more of those people? Using that internal data, what exactly are they doing? Using heat maps, you figuring out where they're clicking, what's the LTV, and then how can we keep maximizing and finding more of those people? So it's like using that internal data from the product level, from the development level, being able to work with the developers to be able to extract that data, and then rapidly respond and make the product adjust to that. And if you look at people like Sean Ellis and beyond, they did the outbound growth hack, but like their strongest claim to fame was being able to take Dropbox and having people refer other people, and it's just playing off of a strong base. So there's different types of growth hacks. There's the acquisition, like inbound, how to get the first 1,000, 1 million, whatever users. And then after that, it's just being able to start playing and be responsive off the internal data, and being able to hack growth by shifting your product features to adapt to that. And that's all the real legit growth hackers, whether it be inside Uber, they actually have full teams dedicated to that in each section of theirs. So that's, to me, like the understanding where what you need to become a kind of full well-rounded growth hacker, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I love what you say, because so many people just don't really understand their customer, and you know this by asking them, like, hey, what type of Facebook custom audiences are you using right now? They're like, oh, I'm doing some basic retargeting. You're like, oh, you're not doing retargeting based on your customers with the highest LTV, right? And they're like, no, I'm not doing that. And you're like, okay, well, you are losing a lot of money.
Yeah, and something like that too is just like another good skill set to have is just attribution too, because just because you acquired somebody cheap, or they came through a cheap click, or you got them as like a cheap dollar per install, but the lifetime value is actually crap, but somebody you paid more that's highly targeted and is your target demo costs more up front, but actually it also has a high LTV, you'll never know unless you are good at analytics, being able to pull reports, looking at just different behaviors, and then making sense of that data too, in terms of like the business sense. So like, as a good growth hacker or even information architect, you have to be like the middle person between looking at the data, the product, and the customers, and then figuring out what is making people tick in this platform, product, or service, and then finding those. And if you don't find them, then you need to start throwing a lot of hypotheses out. Usually like to try like 5 different demographic tests or different campaigns. If one of them works, then we're going to go double on it. Then we're going to swap out the 4 for another 4 tests. And if 2 of them works again, then we're just going to keep those 2, and then we're going to keep stacking these experiments and rapidly evolving from there too. So, yeah.
Awesome. We're going to jump into the crowd and take a couple questions.
The fastest way and this is just like now like me understanding on like the software engineering and security side, which really helped me understand how to break these tools. From the security side, from like Facebook's, Instagram, their biggest giveaway to detect any spam account is usually in its infancy. Like that's the biggest giveaway for any account, because anything else that has become older, gets a lot of followers, will start mixing into the crowd, right? Whereas like when you start, they run the most security checks because they can't keep running. You imagine how many 600 million users, they can't keep running security checks throughout the lifetime of every single user, every single motion. That's just from like a pure technical standpoint. So usually you need to age that. We call it, we age that account. We just let that account just post content. Don't run any automation on it for like a month or two. Then afterward, and even when you start doing that, you have to just do slow increments of actions to keep increasing it, if that makes sense, so that you are like testing the limits, but also just slowly ramping up the actions. So I would definitely wait to create an account, and if you keep creating accounts, then you're going to eventually get your IP address banned, and at that point, you have to buy an IP address or proxy. If you really want to know like a good proxy provider that I use, it's called SSL Private Proxy. You can buy proxies for every single channel and platform. You can buy it for Craigslist. You can buy it to buy sneakers. You can buy it to buy Ticketmaster. Like all the growth hackers there use those tools for that. You just have to rent a IP address to show. But then if you get your phone number banned, then you're gonna have to get a new phone number, and that just requires you to get a disposable phone, not a voice over IP phone, not like a Twilio, not a track phone. It has to be a Verizon, a AT&T, or anybody that subcontracts of it, like a Cricket. And I did my whole I had to learn telecom when I had to break some stuff on there. If I wanted to create because I've created a lot of accounts at scale, and in order to do so, I had to figure out how to do that. And that's like another thing. It's like when a lot of growth hackers that are still trying to figure out, they'll make an excuse and not try to figure out I don't know how to. I'm getting hit with this wall where I have to get a phone verification every single time, and then they just stop there. They didn't want to solve the problem. I'm like, I want to solve this problem. How do I solve that? I became a cell phone reseller. That's how I solved it. And I had to learn telecom because I asked some of my telecom friends, and then I learned that there's levels of telecom, so that's what it takes if you really want to growth hack some crazy stuff. And then if you're building your own scripts, definitely just make it as human as possible. I don't know why script writers or software developers love to go crazy with their scripts. Like, just pretend to be a human, and that's it. Like, it's not mind-blowing. Like, randomize every action every hour, create multiple, like, it's just randomize everything. Like, it's and then just test from there. So that's my suggestion for automation. Oh yeah, why did I skip San Francisco? I love San Francisco. I hate Seattle. Seattle is very tech corporate. A lot of people are fleeing San Francisco. It's like they call it a cheaper Seattle, and also much more loyal work-based, because people there are very risk averse. And that's just like the whole community, from the investor community to the whole startup. Now it's slowly picking up, but even then you just only have big cloud tech, big data, companies coming out of Seattle. The reason why I chose LA specifically, again, is just I saw it as an arbitrage moment. I know what Seattle engineering, San Francisco tech talent looks like. I look at LA, I just see like Tinder for dogs there. I just see like dating apps left and right. I just see that the talent there doesn't match the demand and growing space of startups. And I was like, I'm going to skip San Francisco. First off, it just costs so damn much. I don't know how you guys live here, but it's so expensive. And also too, in LA, it's just it was just a moment where there was like 10 accelerators, which was like, oh, free money, just people throwing out money. And then also too, like there's a lot of intersection now between Hollywood meets tech, and they for sure damn well don't know where to go. They're getting scammed left and right by these influencers and these marketers that don't know crap. So if I knew that I can bring in true talent from my friends from the Bay Area, from New York, from Seattle down to San Francisco, to LA, easily stand out. Because everybody, like the typical thing of LA is a lot of hype. I see a lot of hype there. What if I just build an agency that can actually do what we say we do and just easily stand out? And that's what I did. It's just a big city,
still small, tight-knit community in terms of the startup community. Very collaborative, but I still think that there's still setbacks in terms of like just the talent isn't there. I think a lot of people are caught up in the excitement, the Silicon Beach lifestyle, where they're literally having happy hour every day in Santa Monica. I mean, it's a party city in Silicon Beach. You have hardworking people there, but I see people in Venice. They're like, oh, I have to take this 1 hour lunch. I have to coming in late. They're not putting in the like what I see here down in like Palo Alto, like grind startup mindset. They're gonna go trick somebody for $1 million from like some celebrity. Every celebrity's getting into investment now, and you know, somebody wants to build their own app, and they're gonna shake money, and so that's when I'm like, oh well, what if you bring real down there? Then you're gonna take up all the money. You're gonna actually stand out from the crowd. And so that's my point of view, and that's why I wanted to go all in on LA, besides the fact that LA has the biggest access to like big brands and distribution. You know, LA and New York has a big connection to big brands, so that's a big plus. Publications and distribution. Like LA is one of the biggest distribution cities. You have all the influencers there. You have a lot of content creators there. So like, why not be there in terms of growing any app or a product idea? I'm just befriending these different influencer groups. Then whenever I want to push, if I figure out distribution, then the ideas and startups will come afterwards. So that's my point of view. But I would never hire people in LA anymore. Like I've done that. I burned a lot of cash. Like I will go elsewhere. It's just because what's left is all the big companies. From my point of view, all the big companies like Snapchat are just like absorbing. All the big boutique agencies are absorbing. What's left is you have a shit ton of freelancers. And that's the biggest thing of what I don't like is everybody has the freelance mentality when they work for a startup. And they charge a lot, work little, and they have to be a diva about it, and they have to go and enjoy the sun and ride bikes and drink juice all day long. So it's just, I'm just used to facing a wall in Seattle and rain and drinking Starbucks. So that's just my point of view from the market. And I think every market has a lot of, but if I were to bet a market, it would be LA. That would be the only closest in Tel Aviv to catch up. I think New York, I've been to New York many times. I don't think New York is, the culture there just isn't like catching up. I think LA, I've just been, like even this past year, LA's just been spreading out now. I mean, it's so huge. Like it's been pushing down to downtown, down to OC, even pushing down to San Diego a little bit too. And there's just a lot of land to spread around. And there's a lot of different varieties of businesses, and that's a. But I have not like faced anything like any negative stigma about like Hollywood stuff like that. I just see that as opportunity. Like whatever, they can go all flashy and stuff like that, but you got distribution and influence, so sure, let's work together.
Wow, that was one epic fireside chat right there. Thank you so much for all the knowledge bombs across like all the different channels. Wow.
Hey, thanks, Josh, too. Just before everybody leaves real quick, too, it's Josh's birthday, too. I have a cupcake. We have to sing happy birthday for him.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah.
This was not planned at all, just a heads up.
Yeah, I don't have a candle or anything, but like we should do. Yeah, sorry, I got messed up, too, but yeah. I don't know.
This is awesome. And because a big thank you to the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center and Autopilot for putting on these events and bringing people like Justin Wu here.
For sure. Thanks for having me. And I'll be around too if you want to chat. And if you want to find me, you can always find me on my Snapchat, Instagram, Hackerpreneur. But you can talk to me later. I'll be around. So thanks again for everybody coming out today. It's been great.
Cheers, guys.